In a world overrun with formula movies and lame Hollywood reboots, two brothers from separate mothers scour the outer edges of entertainment to separate the potential cult classics from the B-movie bombs. They watch the films so you don't have to. They are the Keepers of the Fringe.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting adventure of Keepers of the Fringe. This is
exciting adventure.
I had a temporary brain fart. This is actually take two because we had a technical error with take one, which is too bad because we solved all the world's problems, and now nobody will ever hear it.
It was great.
Yeah, and I don't.
It's very insightful.
Very insightful.
Very unlike this version. The second take is not as good.
How could it possibly compare? Oh well. Anyway, I am Derek, and with me is Chris. I was trying to decide. I had something the first time, but I didn't have it.
It was so good the first time too. But yeah, we can't redo it. It would be wrong.
So,
how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
That's good.
How you doing?
That's fine. I'm okay. So we had mentioned earlier that we are recording in a different space this time. We're actually recording we usually have been recording at Chris's house, but today we're recording at my house in my room.
And it's very cool.
It's very cool. I'm cool. It's cool.
His room is just full of all the cool things in the world.
I actually tweeted out a couple of pictures on our Twitter of it. If you would like to take a look I took some pictures of the setup here just because I'm a nerd like that. Dork!
It's very distracting though. I just want to touch everything.
Gotcha.
Play with it. There's like at least a couple of maybe 300 Transformers that I just want to transform right now.
I don't think that.
Just do the noises.
Oh, actually, I didn't take any pictures of my Transformer wall.
No?
No.
What the hell did you take a picture of?
I was taking pictures of around the setup.
Oh.
I'm not trying to show off. I just thought I'd share.
It's very cool.
There's a picture. Clicky. And I'll share that on Twitter. So, while I'm doing that, let's move on to the show, shall we?
Oh, BKB.
What do we got first? A little news about Robert Downey Jr. Is going to be stepping down as Iron Man after the next two Avengers movies.
Yeah, I guess he wants to hang it up and try some different stuff. Well, actually, I heard he was actually doing Dr. Dolittle or something.
Yeah, I did hear that. And
which is a really weird. Fuck Iron Man, I'm gonna be Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's weird. But I mean, I can understand. He's been doing it for almost a decade. I'm sure he's
Yeah, eventually you just want to move on to other things. Same thing with Chris Evans. He wants to stop being Captain America.
Well, I heard that, and then I read something that he said it was up to Marvel if he's done or not.
Right, but we'll see.
I mean, I like Chris Evans, but let's be real. What's he going to do after that? Well, he said he wants to direct. He did direct, but I mean, nothing's going to be on the same level as Captain America.
No, yeah.
He's probably not going to be able to carry that over into any other roles.
No, I doubt it.
The fan base,
Yeah.
But it's weird. Do you think they should recast Iron Man, or do you think they should just let it lie for a while and then maybe bring it back with somebody new? Or
That's a good question and a tough one. Because he ended up being so perfect in that role.
Yeah.
But originally he wouldn't have been everybody's first choice, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think I was initially oh yeah, I see that.
But now he's basically become Iron Man. So it's hard to imagine somebody else.
Yeah. I think they should give it a break for a couple of years and then. See, when I think of that, a new actor coming into a role, I just think of it as there's a new artist on the book kind of thing, in a comic, it's like.
Yeah. Well, they could, now, stick with me here for a minute. They could kill off Iron Man.
Shut your face.
And,
Just say it.
Well, I mean, that's...
I don't like that, though, because I don't think you should get rid of the hero. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's a tough
seems
call.
wrong. Especially because they opened with all their, like, first stringers, you know? Like, if you got rid of everybody that's playing now,
Yeah.
like, what the hell are you going to have?
I got to imagine, though, they expected this would happen at some point, so they must have some kind of contingency plan.
Probably something.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, he's not. He's still going to be Iron Man for the time being, so we should enjoy it while we have it.
Yeah, I don't think he should die, though. I think it'd be like, you know, just don't use him for a little while, then...
I think he should die.
Like Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner, Iron Man, gots to go.
What a world!
What? Maybe we can have Kevin Costner play Iron Man.
What you talking about,
I
Willis?
don't know, I just... I put those two together.
Yeah, that would
suck.
That was
Humongous.
donkey dick. Yeah, so it's a tough call with those. You know, at some point, the actors aren't going to want to do them forever, but But then again, like with the Batman movies, they've switched those a bunch of times, as we all know. Not always with good results.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. That's why I like the characters enough that I want to see it keep going.
Yeah.
But maybe it just take a couple of years just to get people's, clean the palate of Robert Downey Jr. and maybe bring him back.
Yeah. I mean, and they did it with the Hulk.
Yeah. Pretty quickly too. And that it wasn't jarring because it's supposed to be kind of like the Incredible Hulk movie was supposed to be part of.
Yeah. But on the other hand, the Hulk they didn't find the perfect fit for the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like they did with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Yeah, so it wasn't really that
much
of a loss there.
I like Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, but...
Yeah, I didn't really like Ed Norton as...
The what?
I didn't really like Ed Norton as...
Yeah, I liked Eric Bana, even though that movie was not good in any way. But yeah. And how many Spider-Mans? Spider-Mans. How many Spider-Man? But then again, that went through a uphill and a downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm open. I want the character to continue, so.
And speaking of Spider-Man, let's get into a little bit of Spidey talk since we mentioned him. So the trailer came out early this week for a new trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. What'd you think of it?
I don't know.
It was good. You loved it. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. I know it really.
Best thing I've ever seen. You know what? I did like it, but at the same time, there's a weird. I don't even want to say like a Spidey sense about the movie to me that I can't really put my finger on it. But when I see stuff about it, I'm like something feels off to me, and I hope I'm completely wrong.
You are,
but
well,
I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing about this whole Spider-Man thing. And that's all I have to say. No.
Very insightful.
We've kind of had, Spider-Man's been like a kind of a roller coaster ride with good movies, bad movies, okay movies. Where was I going? Now I'm off the roller coaster.
Spider-Man, he had some good movies, and then he had the bad ones, and then the ones that were kind of not so much, somewhere in the middle.
No.
And then you were going to say something else?
Somewhere in the middle. I think they sucked.
Oh, what, the newer ones?
Yeah, the amazing.
Well, the first one I didn't, there's a lot I didn't like about it, but I kind of liked Andrew Garfield as the Spider-Man.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. I liked him.
He was more jokey, and it felt...
I didn't like him as Peter Parker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I think I'm kind of sick of the school year Peter Parker. Like, I mean, I get why they're starting there, but...
I'm not sick of it. I just don't feel like it's been done right.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't really been done right, but I'm just like, I just want to get out of the whole high school thing and just...
Well, that ain't happening.
Let him be Spider-Man.
So now, well, the trailer got me excited for the movie, which, of course, I was already excited about it. But what does not have me excited is some of the other things we've heard. For example, there's talk that Spider-Man might be leaving the MCU after the sequel to Homecoming.
Sony, those sneaky bastards.
What the fuck, Sony?
They're
what
like,
the
So like we're gonna hand it over to Marvel just long enough to give it some credibility.
Right.
Then we're gonna snatch that shit back.
And they're like, oh yeah, okay.
And then we're gonna make a bunch of our shitty movies. Yay!
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's not like I
So-
don't think it's definite, but I mean,
Right.
I think that's.
I don't know. I can see it happening though.
Yeah, well, especially with them setting up the Venom movie and the Black Cat and stuff.
Right.
Like that makes sense now because I was like, why are they doing that? And I'm like, they're doing it because when his rights run out with Marvel or whatever, they're gonna bring him. And they're gonna have an established world just to throw him into.
That would be a bad move.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they listen to the fans. Okay, so we'll put him into the MCU, but they're just gonna borrow him for a little while. That's stupid.
Which then makes me sad because I'm like, if they're setting up all these other movies, that means
Right.
Spider's never gonna really have a homecoming. Ever.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the Venom movie, there's talk that it could be rated R, which makes sense, I guess, for Venom, depending on what version of Venom you use. But it still bothers me that he's not going to have any association to Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, I guess.
How?
Well, maybe he is. Maybe they're gonna do like.
Maybe.
Well, in the Ultimate World comic line, he wasn't directly linked to Spider-Man, right? From
Not
what I
the same
remember.
way, no.
Like he was created.
Yeah.
So
Like
they're probably going to go that road, introduce the whole
Yeah.
thing, and then have it lead off with Eddie Brocker becoming Venom. And then that will be just in time enough for when Spider-Man's rights are done, they can throw him in there. And
Yeah. It's a little, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's kind of upsetting.
yeah. I wish Marvel could keep it, but
I know. We finally get what we want, and it's like when you give a kid a lollipop and then you take it away from them before they're done with it.
right when you get to the Tootsie Roll sound,
Oh, I'll take that.
a 1, 2 with all fuck.
I love me some Tootsie Roll. So let's move on to some more good news. They're going to be rebooting, my favorite word, G.I. Joe.
Which originally that sounds like, oh, good.
Yeah, oh, G.I. Joe. But then I read, and we retweeted it, an article that mentioned they were going to gear it more towards millennials.
Yeah, then that's where it went up in flames right there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what that means exactly.
No.
But everything that pops to mind is not good.
First of all, the millennials are not G.I. Joe's original. I mean, the audience. I don't even know how well any of them know G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I'm sure they could give two fucks about it.
So, I don't know.
Especially after the last two movies we had. Jesus. Like, I don't get that, how you could make something that is silly and make it more ridiculous. Did you ever see that G.I. Joe animated movie,
Yes.
Resolute, or I think
Yep.
it was? Like, that was good.
That was wicked good,
it's like, it had a kind of a serious tone to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you did like a movie like that.
And they did, IDW had the G.I. Joe license, and they had done a more realistic type version of G.I. Joe, a more mature version, which is really cool.
Yeah, I remember reading some of that,
It
actually.
was really interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So, what, I don't know.
I don't know what that means, though. Like,
I don't either. But it does need to be rebooted, I will say that much. One of the few movies that actually does need to be rebooted.
yeah, there's no saving it where it is now.
Where is it now? In the toilet.
In the dumper.
In the dumper. In the pooper. So, let's go for a swim, shall we?
Oh, man.
I know that was bad, sorry. I've been taking too many cues from Mike on Weeby Geeks and his attempt to
The master of the Segway.
Master of the Segway. And maybe the two-wheel riding thing. So there's some news on the creature of the black. Is it of or from?
From.
That's what I thought you wrote of.
Sorry. I'm only human, man.
I don't know about that sometimes. So, as we know, the Universal Monsters are going to be rebooted as a combined universe.
Yeah, like the shared.
'Cause that's the whole fad these days.
Well, they kind of actually, that one they kind of did back in the day too. Sort of. They had.
Yeah.
Like I just actually recently bought the Universal monster movie collection. It's got like 30 movies in it.
Wow, really?
It's got like every, like Invisible Man, Creature of the Black Lagoon, and all the sequels.
Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein.
And it's got
Illegitimate Son of Frankenstein. That's my favorite.
Illegitimate Son of Frankenstein.
Illegitimate son.
And like the Abbott and Costello movies too.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was cool. I got it for like $50 or something. I'm like, nice.
Nice.
Those were like the gateway monsters, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You watch all those.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, like, I always loved like the Wolfman and shit. Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Creature from the Black Lagoon was like one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was cool. So it's being it's going to be written, the reboot's going to be written by Will
Beadl, I think.
Beale? Will Beale.
Which he,
huh?
Did it say what does it say after him?
Aquaman.
Oh yeah, he was right around Aquaman. Which hopefully that's good. We don't know yet. I'm sure he's done other things, but I don't know what else he's done.
Let's not get into the whole DC thing.
Yeah, we can't say it. But I heard it's going to kind of be like Lord of the Rings underwater.
Aquaman?
Yeah, I heard some.
Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
Lord of the Rings. I guess they wanted to stop saying Game of Thrones because everybody says that now. It's like Game of Thrones with,
Is it going to be underwater hobbits? Hobbits can swim. Oh, that was a fucking bad.
It sounded like Gollum's been like smoking for like 60 years.
Yeah, them hobbitses. They still got my precious. Light me up another one. Now there's a movie for you. Instead of the Hobbit movies, they could have done that. The story of Gollum.
Harry Firestein as Gollum.
Where's my ring? My precious. Oh. So, let's move on, shall we? This is kind of cool. Lucasfilm says Vader's castle may appear in future movies.
Yeah, I guess they were talking about how much they went into detail about it and studied it and like why he would have it there and what would be in it. And they put all this research into it and they said that it could possibly be seen in future films.
That'd be cool.
Which I don't know if that means like the trilogy now or, maybe Kylo Ren will go there or something or.
Right, yeah.
And so people won't go, hey, what the fuck's that? And then they go, now we know what it is. It's going to be sorry in the other movie.
Yeah.
Or hopefully they do like a Vader solo movie or something. I would like to see that.
There's been some rumors of that.
Like during, between 3 and 4.
No.
I want it.
Yeah.
Especially why James Earl Jones still kicking.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Doesn't even be anything like the last minute of Rogue One.
Oh, man.
Have a whole movie of that.
Oh, man. Now you're talking. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so that would be, I'd be down for that.
Totally. So, moving on, we have another remake of The Blob this time.
The Blob.
The Blob. What a classic.
I like the original Blob.
How many of those have there been?
There's the Blob, Beware the Blob, which is also known as Son of the Blob.
Son of the Blob.
Illegitimate son.
The illegitimate Son of the Blob.
And then there's
Son of a Blob.
The 80s remake, which I really like that one, too.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I don't know, like, I'm not...
It's
kind of...
whatever.
Yeah, it's like, why, but...
I know, I'm indifferent towards it. We may end up seeing it, who knows.
I mean, it's going to be all CG, though.
Yeah.
Blob.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know.
The 80s ones, there's like certain scenes from that, like, are just burned in my memory forever. Like, some of the death scenes are, like, pretty gruesome.
So that goes under another one under the category of...
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? But on some more interesting news, we have Rainn Wilson from The Office fame, playing a young Harry Mudd in Star Trek Discovery, the new series that's coming out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
But I can kind of see that in a weird way.
Yeah, I can.
Like, from his character of Dwight, like, I can kind of see elements of that.
Yeah, that would be... I think he'd be pretty funny. He'd be pretty good. I could totally see it.
So what the hell's going on with that show? What is it on again? CBS?
Yeah,
something?
CBS, whatever their app is. Which kind of sucks, because you got to pay for it.
Which I never will, so...
No. And it's like, why not just... I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There must be a big enough audience to have it more widespread than that.
It's Star Trek, for crying out loud. It's like my dad, who's a huge Star Trek fan. He'll never see this show.
Yeah, he's
There's just no way he's going to be doing the CBS app.
Unless it eventually comes out in DVD or some bullshit, or if people still buy those, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Well, your dad probably would.
Yeah, my dad, yeah, might, eventually. Who knows?
Does he have the Blu-ray yet, or is he still doing the DVD?
No, he's still on the DVD. Are you kidding me? It was hard enough getting him to use the DVD.
I know, it wasn't that long ago, right? When he switched over?
Yeah, a couple of years. I've
always been like that, too.
I had to buy him a DVD player for Christmas in order for him to start using DVDs. And then once he got the DVD player, he's like, oh, I love this.
That's how I was, too. I'm like, I had all these VHS tapes. I'm like, fuck DVDs.
I don't want to.
Then I got him like, I like DVDs.
Weren't you like that with CDs, too?
Yeah, I'm really resistant to fucking technology. I like it, but at the same time.
See, but the funny thing is my dad didn't used to be. He used to, like when I was a kid, we had a VHS and a Betamax. He was always
we always
out for
had
the new shit.
both too. We also had a Laserdisc player at one point.
He never had that.
Like my dad was like, really into like gadgets and stuff. We had like 3 VCRs and
we had
camcorders and all that shit.
This is how old I am. We had a remote control for one of our VCRs that was a wire. You had to attach it with a wire, like a 10-foot wire. And it was just one button for play, stop. That's it.
Shit, I don't even remember that one.
It wasn't even you can't even call it a remote.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, technically is, but
anyways,
it's the shittiest one known to man.
That was way back at the 20th century.
It's weird. I found a random tape I found a bunch of VHS tapes, and one of them is like New Year's Eve at my house a long time ago, and some of my friends there and stuff. Oh, yeah. That's like my dad just got the VCR, so he's trying out all these visual effects. You know, somebody's saying like Access TV. It was funny.
That's awesome. All right. So, speaking of visual effects, there is an Akira live-action movie coming out based on the Japanese anime that we grew up with.
Akira.
That was a great... I love that movie.
Tetsuo!
And it is apparently going to be directed, possibly, by Jordan Peele.
Yeah, which I want to see his movie. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
And I like Jordan Peele. I mean, Peele is pretty funny.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. But I mean, obviously, Akira is not a comedy.
Yeah. But, I mean, his new movie, the Get Out.
Get Out, yeah. That's a horror movie.
Yeah, and I heard it's, like, one of the best ones, and it has, like, a 99% fresh rating or something.
I've been hearing very good things about it.
It's cool. I'm like, damn, who knew we had it in them?
I know.
That's cool. But there's a weird, like, the Ghost in the Shell that just came out. Like, I want to see that, but I'm like...
Yeah, I'm hearing iffy things on that one.
I've heard kind of, like, what I thought it would be, like, visually cool, but...
Yeah, but story-wise, kind of,
And they have to water it down for mainstream audiences, because most people are...
Yeah, which is one thing I'm a little worried about this Akira movie, because... Kids, if you haven't seen Akira, it's a classic Japanese anime, and you really should see it. It's a total mindfuck.
Yeah. I remember I was pretty young when I saw it, too, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
I know.
What's going on? Because I think that might have been, like, one of my first, like, animes, you know? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch a cartoon. Yeah. I'm like,
Well, if you don't count like
this
all
is not
the
a
old
cartoon at all.
giant robot cartoons we used to watch and everything.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
that was the
shit.
first, like,
Yeah, like where I was like, this
Yeah.
is not comedic or action oriented, really. It's
this ain't no Robotech.
This ain't your mama's.
It's like your mama's anime.
So yeah, I think I was like, wow, it's very violent and
It is.
totally threw me off.
And just, it's messed up. But it's good.
Classic. Same with Ghost in the Shell too. But.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I'm a little concerned about a live action version. But we'll see.
Yeah, I kind of would. I mean, I would want to see it, but
Yeah. I'm not against Jordan Peele doing it, but he hasn't really, as far as I know, done anything with, like, big effects and...
yeah, he seems to be
Jeez.
pretty early in the game to be handing him, Akira. I mean, that's pretty big.
But who knows? Maybe he can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Akira's definitely going to be very effects heavy, and
That's what I heard about the Ghost in the Shell. Like, I heard they like totally nail the aesthetic of it. It looks really cool.
yeah, like everything I've seen on it, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
But then it's, kind of like Avatar. Beautiful movie, but weak story. Weak.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, James Cameron, but Avatar was weak.
Love you, man, but
Well, I like you. I don't like you, but I like you.
well, get ready because there'll be 5 more of them shits coming someday, maybe.
Yeah, it ain't never gonna happen.
Oh, it's
Anyway.
happening.
It's supposed to have been happening for like 2 billion years now. Avatar 2 next year? No. Year after? No. Couple of, no. 10 years? No. Anyway. Now another director that many people are fond of, some are not, is Joss Weedon. And it is, I don't know if it's official yet, but there is talks of him writing and directing a Batgirl movie.
Yeah, which is, I don't know. I mean, I could see him doing that.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. Like, Josh Whedon, like, I like him, but
Yeah.
in the same, I don't know, like, a lot of his dialogue and stuff, it's too hip for me. It's like, like, it's just like,
Yeah.
he's just trying too hard, it feels like.
Yeah. Well,
But I could totally see him doing a Batgirl movie.
I could totally see it. Yeah.
And I guess it would be based on, like the new 52 version of Batgirl.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Which I'm not 100% familiar with, but
Yeah.
I know a little bit of her. I've read a little, not like when she's guest starred in other books and shit. I never read her solo series in the new 52.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. I did when it first came out. I read it for a little while. It was pretty good. It's just the whole, cause she was the Oracle thing and
Yeah, they like fix that now.
yeah, they fixed it, but it's like, yeah.
So what's going on with that anyway? Is the new 52 still?
No, it's done.
It's done, right?
It's done.
So they kind of like rebooted again.
Rebirth.
Rebirth. That's what
They
it
had
was.
a rebirth.
Yeah, I didn't like the new 52 from what I read of it.
Nobody liked the new 52.
I think there were a couple like Batman. I don't remember him changing all that much from what I remember.
The only good things out of the new 52 were Batman. It was written by Scott Snyder and drawn by Greg Capullo, and they had a good run on that. And then there was some other
Batman, and then
the beginning, it kind of went south afterwards, but the beginning of the Swamp Thing and Animal Man books were really good.
I remember liking that.
Yeah, those are really good.
It ended badly though.
Well,
It got too convoluted and
they stopped Animal Man.
Eminem.
That's a Star Wars character. I think.
Eminem.
They stopped Animal Man. They canceled the book after a while, and then Swamp Thing got a little messy.
Yeah.
It's a Swamp Thing.
Oh Jesus!
That's not what I meant. Anyway, yeah, it kind of got when the first writer left. Oh boy, was that? I don't remember who was writing it back then. I'm sorry, bad memory. But anyway, when after he left the book, it didn't go downhill. It just kind of plateaued, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I remember I was looking at it. It was like really weird. Like,
Yeah. The whole
with the whole red and the green
and the rot.
Yeah, the rot. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Another book that I enjoyed from the New 52 was Justice League Dark. That was cool.
I think I remember reading some of that.
But again, that one started off strong, but kind of fell off a bit towards the end.
What about all the Green Lantern and all that in Darkest Night stuff? Was that under the New 52 banner? Or was
Not the Darkest Night, but the Green Lantern book didn't really change like the other books. It kind of just...
Yeah, it just kept on
kept
trucking,
going.
right?
Yeah. But again, after Jeff Johns' run of Green Lantern, where he did that, the Darkest Night and everything, it's hard to compare to that.
Yeah, I kind of miss it because I've kind of been out of it for a couple of years, and I kind of want to jump in, but then I'm like, it's so much.
So much. Yeah, and then, I don't know. The New 52 wasn't all bad, but it wasn't good overall.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling
There were a lot of missteps.
Yeah. That's cool. And now they went back and now they're like doing their original kind of origins or...
Yes, but they haven't completely wiped out the New 52 either. So they're kind of like melding them together. So...
Jesus.
Yeah, like Jesus.
Like Jesus. In spandex. Jesus in spandex.
Jesus in spandex.
That's an image.
Save me, Jeebus.
Jeebus.
Wow. We went off on quite the tangent there, didn't we? So, actually, that brings us to the end of the topics we have this week. So, let's go on to some recommendations. Fringe recommendations. What do you got this week?
Firstly, I have a band called Beastmaker.
Beastmaker!
Which are a fairly new band. And I've just kind of found them fairly recently, like I think within 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And they sound like old school, like early Black Sabbath.
Ooh.
And the vocals he has like a weird spacey, like, effect on them. Like this band Gwen Mars, which you're probably the only person that knows who they are.
I love Gwen Mars.
Yeah, the first Gwen Mars album was good. But, I don't know, I kind of dig it. It's kind of slow, doomy.
Slow doomy.
And he has, like, his vocals are, like, a higher, like, it almost sounds like Ozzy at certain moments, like, early Ozzy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So if you like Black Sabbath, which, who doesn't?
Only a fool would not like Black Sabbath.
The Godfathers of Metal.
Metal!
Check that shit out.
Check it.
And then, on the game front, I have a game that's been out for a few years now. It's called Deadlight, but this is the director's cut of it. Which, it's like a side-scroller zombie survival game. It takes place in, like, 1986.
Ooh.
And you're like a park ranger that's trying to make it to this safe haven to reunite with your family. It's kind of like an environmental puzzle game, and you can fight zombies a little bit. Like every once in a while, you'll get like an axe or something, but you're not supposed to engage them. You know, maybe knock one over and get the fuck out of there.
I think I've heard of that game.
Yeah, like the graphics are like really, like it's really cool to look at. Like it looks really nice. And it kind of sets the tone, has like the 80s kind of vibe. Like I just realized that all the trophy names are like 80s metal songs.
Awesome.
Nice. And also during the game you remember those old Tiger Electronic handheld games?
Yes.
You can find like 3 of those.
Oh, no shit.
But they're like their own thing and you can play them and shit.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I thought, cause tonight is the season finale, right, of Walking Dead.
It is.
So in honor of that, I thought I'd recommend a little zombie action.
Oh,
it kind of is like a good, like, it's probably like the best Walking Dead game there is. If you like Walking Dead, you would.
Even better than the Walking Dead games?
Yeah.
The Telltale games?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. Those are good.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But those are good.
Oh, those are good.
This one's a little less story-driven, a little more action-y.
Right. So I guess depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and it's not really long. It's not a long game.
Yeah, I think in that way you probably don't even really need to compare them in that way.
Yeah.
Because they're 2 totally different types of games, so.
Yeah, but if that's your bag
They're
there, you will enjoy.
Your bag, baby.
Your bag, baby.
Baby.
But yeah, that was a good one. And I bought it on disc. I mean, I think you can download it and everything. But I want to physically own the stuff. I collect stuff, so. And I hate, I already can't find space on my fucking PS4 already, so.
Well, you can get one of the, you can use a hard drive now.
Yeah, but I like to physically own shit. Because I like, what if I want to play the game somewhere,
Brother, you don't have to tell me. Look around.
Look around.
Look around.
Especially you're like paying like the same prices as a,
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I know. I wish they would make those cheaper.
I know. It's like if I don't have a disc or a box or anything, it should be cheaper
the extra
than
money
the retail version.
It should be, yeah. No packaging, no nothing.
Yeah, at least by half. Anyway, maybe.
At least. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah.
At some point.
Plus, you're always welcome to borrow anything I have.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
That reminds me, don't forget.
You'll have to just pay me back later.
I'm done.
Some way, my own choosing.
I'll get you a fucking.
And you can't say no, whatever it is.
No.
Remember, I'm Italian. You fucking get in bed with me there, my friend. You're having favors. I do you this, and you have to return the favor someday.
Yeah, well, I'm Canadian, so.
What does that mean?
Oh.
What are they known for?
Apologize.
Maple syrup?
I'm doing it.
Is that Vermont?
Yeah.
Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
Hockey?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike Myers.
So I beat you up with a hockey stick.
Ooh, scary.
Like
Canadian bacon.
Dressed up
Canadian
as
bacon.
Wayne from Wayne's World. Canadian bacon. Or as we like to call it, ham. Anyway.
Random thoughts.
Random thoughts. And now, random thoughts. So, that all you got?
Yep.
All right. It. I too have a recommendation.
Oh, you do? Oh.
No, I got nothing.
You lying prick.
Fooled ya, sucker.
You some bitch.
Now it's time for us to move on to the ARF.
Arf.
ARF. ARF. ARF. I was gonna say our favorite section, but I don't know if that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
ARF. Some
weeks it is.
The Fringe movie of the week. And this week,
it was.
What the hell did we watch this week?
2019, after the fall of New York.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it was an Italian ripoff sort of like Escape from New York.
Yeah, I guess. Kinda, yeah. And it came out in 1983, I believe. Yes, 1983. So right there, you already know it's gonna be good.
Yeah. It's nice.
And
post-apocalyptic fucking.
Post-apocalyptic. And then, so the rundown is, after a nuclear war, society breaks down into two groups, the evil Urax and the rebel Federation. A mercenary named Parsifal.
Percival, right?
Percival. Yeah, Parsifal. Well, spelled with an A. Is hired by the Federation to infiltrate New York City. I wouldn't say he was hired. He was forced into it. To infiltrate New York City, which is controlled by the Urax, to rescue the only fertile woman left on Earth.
Wasn't the Urax like it was the Federation of Europe, Asia, and Africa?
Yeah, and Africa.
Formed together.
Yeah. And the movie's rated R. I don't see why it was rated R. It was nothing.
Well, there was a couple of shots in there that were kind of like the one that weird guy got his head blown off.
Oh, we're talking a classic here. The acting was cheesy. The story was pretty cheesy. The dialogue was pretty cheesy. The special effects were pretty.
The sound effects.
The sound effects were beautifully cheesy. This movie is top grade A cheese.
Yeah. It also had one of the worst sounds ever. Next to Gilbert Gottfried maybe having an orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
Would be keyboard synthesized horn noises from the 80s. Like, that's like the worst
on the soundtrack.
It's the worst.
But then he's So the movie opens with this guy playing a trumpet, but it's obviously
not a real trumpet.
Right, it's a keyboard synthesizer, the sound, but he's playing an actual trumpet, which would never make that noise that's coming out.
Yeah. See, back in the day, like, I never thought it sounded like a horn ever.
No.
Like, you could tell it was terrible. And they had it, like, in everything in the 80s.
So this movie...
So right when that started, he was just a lone survivor looking over New York and playing his horn.
Buckle in. Like, you're in for a ride.
It's gonna be special.
Special. And then it went to that, and there was this weird thing with the Urax where, they were trying to find the woman, right? No, they were trying to find people to experiment on.
Yeah, like everybody was mutated because of...
Right. You mutated. The
Urax, are they the ones that, like, set off the...
Everybody had the herpes.
Future herpes.
Future herpes. Not to be confused with space herpes. But, so the movie starts with them, like, hunting down civilians with this gang of people that were dressed like the Village people.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Weird.
Spiky collars and tight clothing and...
It was because there was like this moment where they were pausing, like at 6:30 we're gonna hunt everybody down. So they're all standing there waiting, and they kept going to these people's faces, and then back to the Village people, and then these people making faces, and then back to, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, they were. I don't know. It was weird. It looked like they were trying to kill them, but they also were capturing them to test them.
Yeah, well, they didn't capture that guy they lit on fire. My ass. Yeah, they were going around with flamethrowers. I'm like,
yeah,
if you want to capture people, you shouldn't be using flamethrowers. That's just, just a thought.
Yeah.
And then it jumps to this scene in the Nevada desert with this really bad race.
The Nevada race.
The Nevada race. That would kill me. The sign, the Nevada race. Oh, thanks. What's that? It's a race in Nevada. Oh, that makes sense.
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah, it was kind of like a demolition derby race, and that's where we meet our hero.
It was like something out of Death Race 2000 or some shit, but not as good.
If that helps put it in perspective for you.
Yeah. And that should tell you all you need to know. And then and again, more people dressed up like the Village people. And there actually was somebody wearing an Indian headdress in the crowd. So, and then, Percival there, he wins the race, blah, blah, blah. He gets captured. No, yeah. He gets, what was it, the Pan American Federation or something? Yeah, whatever the hell it is. So they take him up to Alaska.
I'm like,
because they're hiding up in Alaska. And they tell him they need him to go on a mission to find this woman who's the only fertile woman left on Earth. And they'll give him a seat on a rocket that's taken off to find other planets.
Yeah, they said that they found like planets like Alpha Centauri or something. Or, like there was habitable planets out there, and he was going to give him a seat.
Yeah.
If they find the last woman.
Oh, well, I think I'll stand, but thanks. Anyway, so then they pull out these two guys to go with them. One guy has an eye patch. Ratchet. His name is Ratchet. And the other guy has this like cheesy claw for a hand. Because he lost his hand in New York or whatever. His family got killed, all this BS, whatever.
Yeah, so he was in the inside man. He knew his way around New York. So.
Right, so. Yeah.
Which I don't remember what his name was.
George.
I
don't know. Did he have a name? I don't even know.
Yeah, he was something. I don't remember.
So, anyway. So then the next scene is they're riding motorcycles to New York. It's like, did you fucking ride from Alaska to New York on motorcycles?
Yeah, I'm confused. I don't know if they got dropped off somewhere, and then they must have, but... You saw them in Alaska, and the next shot they were driving motorcycles.
Yeah, but like you said,
New York.
If they were going to drop them off somewhere, they just drop them right outside New York. And then they meet up with the horn player.
Oh, yeah.
And he tells them how to get into New York, into Manhattan, and then And then
hilarity ensues. They go through all this shit, and they go through the sewer. There's rats everywhere. And then they meet these people that are trying to kill the rats for dinner. Oh yeah, the mutants. There were a bunch of
the mutants, in which they have one girl who is not a mutant, strangely, and of course our hero Percival instantly
drawn to her, which I thought
gets a boner for her.
Was the woman that was fertile at first?
Right, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, because you were like, it looked like the only person that wasn't mutated or.
But then it was like, how would he know that? I can smell the fertile on you. That's how it seemed like.
Yeah, it was really weird.
He was just like always staring at her, and you're like, dude, settle down, man. And then, more stuff happens. They get captured. There was a weird scene between the claw guy that went with Percival. He gets captured, and this bald guy who's supposed to be some kind of leader or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was kind of like the leader of the Yericons or whatever.
But they have this whole deep conversation where they're talking about how humanity sucks and all that. And, they blew up the world. And,
That's how I know I'm getting older too, because I'm like, when I was a kid, I used to always side with the hero. And now, every time I see a movie, I'm like, well, I may not agree with his methods, but I kind of agree with what the bad guy's saying.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
But then that ends with the claw guy poking out the bald guy's eyes, which is weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then Percival is captured, and he gets interrogated by this woman who starts making out with him for some reason.
Oh yeah, she just came in and she was like right on him.
Yeah, it's like, and that was weird. And then they escape. They go through. They come across these dwarves living underground and all this other stuff.
The usual.
The usual. It just keeps getting weirder and weirder from there.
Yeah, they were like all these little folk living under the city.
And then the Uraks come, and they have this thing that makes weird noises and chases
all
the
it
kills
the little
them
people
all.
died from weird noises.
Yeah, weird noises.
It was like, woo! It was like cheesy, like sci-fi movies sounds.
Oh yeah, like cheesy. And then they leave there, and they come across this group of like Neanderthal ape people. Like it was Neanderthals and bad like rejects from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, there was some that kind of had like monkey, like the Planet of the Apes makeup on.
Yeah, and some that just looked like had the like Neanderthal type foreheads, and their leader was
Big Ape. Which he was kind of dressed like a pirate, sort of.
I was thinking he was just like somebody from like Sinbad or
yeah, like a cross between, because he did have like a scimitar or something.
Yeah. So then
it looked like they were like their home base was like in an old theater or like
something like that.
They had like all these props around, like
it was weird. And then Big Ape joins the party, and they all move on, and they finally the one dwarf that they were hanging out with that rescued them led them to the professor, the professor, who has a daughter that he has like cryogenically frozen because she's the last fertile woman.
Yeah, so he was trying to keep her uncontaminated from, all the contamination.
We don't want to get contaminated from
contamination. Yeah, we're trying to keep her, pure in, I guess, every sense of the word. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. So then, of course, the professor's dead somehow. I guess he died in his chair.
Yeah, he looked like he was up there, so he probably...
Yeah. And then they go through all this other stuff, and they get,
blah, and then blah, the blah.
Big Ape.
He sneaks in there, and because he's like one of the last fertile males, I guess. Right. They were saying there were only a couple of them.
Yeah, something like that. So
that was kind of off screen. That did happen, right?
As far as I could tell, yeah. So Big Ape tried to impregnate a fertile woman, but we don't know. He might have been successful.
We're assuming it all went down, but
while everybody else went to the junkyard and tried to find parts to team up a car to get them out of New York. And then there was a whole weird scene with them driving through the Lincoln Tunnel and all this weird...
Yeah, all these booby traps and everything.
Yeah, and a big laser and all this. That somehow fried Big Ape.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there.
He just, one minute he was there, next minute he was a charred skeleton.
Yeah, like they made it out of the tunnel, and at the very last minute there was all these, lasers just went, pew! And you went, oh! And then
that was pretty much the sound they made, too. And then they got out of New York, and they were driving. They were supposed to pick them up, and then they found out. I still don't understand this part. They found out Percival realized that Ratchet was a cyborg. So,
which is weird because it's the same exact moment I thought he was, but I thought maybe it was just bad acting, but it actually was meant to happen.
Yeah, but then, like, all the other stuff, like, he was super strong and stuff, so you think that would have been a clue?
Well, he didn't really, because remember the door thing? Because they had Big Ape help with the door.
No,
well, actually, he just blew it up.
Yeah.
But he was, like, the most, like, handy dude in the whole movie. Ratchet was.
Right. But then, when Percival found out he was a cyborg, they got into a fight, and...
Yeah,
for some reason...
It was like a fight to the death.
Apparently
they wound up killing Ratchet, but I'm like... I don't know.
Anti-cyborg or something.
Yeah, I don't know if the cyborg movement has another agenda.
Well, yeah, because they said all the cyborgs were dead.
Yeah.
Right? Or some shit like that.
But he seemed like he was completely cool until he tried to kill him, and then Ratchet defended himself, and then...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then he hit him in the head, and it was weird. And then Ratchet was it accidentally? Killed the woman, not the fertile woman, but the woman that Percival fell for... Earlier with the rat people that he was staring at. Anyway, and it was her whole death scene was all like, supposed to be all,
kiss me with love. Was that what you said?
Something like, yeah. Like, alright, whatever.
Yeah, she was saying all kinds of weird shit. Like, what was she?
I know, you just
score, and so she started saying something that was it wasn't that, but
I don't know.
She was just like,
the whole time I was just like, die already.
Wrap it up, Toots. We gotta get out of here.
I don't know. The whole movie ends with Percival and the fertile woman. Feels weird saying that.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird.
Does she have a name? I don't think they ever give her a name.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they did, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so they take off in a spaceship that looks like something out of space, 1999.
Yeah, you can tell what the front and the back of that thing.
Yeah. And the scene ends, the whole movie just ends on a close-up shot of the woman, as she opens her eyes.
Yeah, they said that she was frozen for like 20 years or something like that. Like she hasn't seen everything that's gone down.
Yeah, so she doesn't know. So she went under into the cryogenically frozen for 20 years. She doesn't know about the whole world being blown up, and now she's gonna wake up in a spaceship on her way to another planet.
That's true.
That's a fine how do you do.
Like, wow, what the hell's going on?
Where am I? And then also, what struck me as odd is she opened her eyes and there's old Percival there staring at her with this all the lights had gone green in the cabin, the ship. So like he's bathed in green light. His face is all covered in dirt and he's just staring down at her. Like
he looks like the bassist from Loverboy or something. so staring at her.
My first instinct would probably be don't touch that.
Sorry.
To freak out. Like, oh, what's going on?
I think it was supposed to end on like a hopeful. I don't know what that was supposed to.
And I think she was naked, but she had a sheet on. So like that would you're like, why am I naked? Why are you staring at me? Where am I? What the hell's going on? Naked in space.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a good time though watching it.
Yeah, it was fun. We enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
We always.
I know it probably doesn't seem like it, but we had some. The show has been just all day has been hard to tape this one for some reason. I don't know why. So we're kind of a little off the game there, but it was funny.
Funny.
It was good stuff.
It was actually.
I know we're not selling it right now, but
it was entertaining.
It was good.
It was good.
I would definitely recommend it.
You will like it.
I think you definitely need somebody to watch it with, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would.
I think that's kind of the case with all of these movies.
Yeah, well, sometimes I can watch
fun.
a movie and it's okay that and I don't mind it.
We're not talking about those kind of movies. No, but it's fun. That's why we do this. It's fun to watch it with some friends, and you can make fun of it. And
yeah, it's good times. Yeah, there's plenty of material to make fun of it in there.
There sure is. All right. Well, on that note, I guess that'll do it for this week's episode. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good.
Good. You good? I'm good. Good. It's all right. It's all right. All right. So, I guess we'll say goodnight.
Good night, and hopefully see you next time.
If you would like to contact us, you can email us at keepersofthefringe@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. We are at KOTFR. We have a Facebook page. You can follow us there at facebook.com/keepersofthefringe. You can find our podcast on the Weeby Geeks Network at www.weebygeeks.net. You can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, and while you're at it, give us a rating and a review. We'd certainly appreciate it. Finally, you can subscribe to the Keepers YouTube channel for updates on all new episodes. That is Keepers of the Fringe on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
We like movies.
That's a good start.